Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and my question to you today is, do you think a Doctor Who anthology spinoff could work? So something, the closest thing I can think of is the Twilight Zone. Something where each episode is its own individual thing, like the Twilight Zone, but it's somehow a spinoff of the Doctor Who universe. Do you think that could work? I would love that. I would love these little bottle episodes, these contained episodes that just take place in various places and things in the Doctor Who universe. Now, one or two of them, I think you could even have characters familiar with the story. You can have this episode with Kate, you can have an episode with Ace, you can have an episode with Amy. It'd be a great way to bring back past companions to have an episode. Now, I don't think you need to do that with every episode, just a couple, not even half. You could sneak in some old companions. We could catch up with Polly, you could catch up with Romana, Leela, Clara, Amy, Rory. Stuff like that would be interesting. Now, I think, say you get an 8-episode season, 8 to 10 episodes. Let's just say 8. 8 seems kind of the norm now. You get 8 episodes. I think maybe 2 of those episodes, you catch up with a previous companion, the first season. 2. The other 6, I think, need to be individual stories. Now, you could bring back some villains there, like, what about a story where humanity stumbles onto the Daleks and the Doctor's not there to save them? I would like that, because it would give the Daleks a chance to win in a way that makes sense, because if the Doctor's there, the Daleks probably aren't going to win. It's one of the reasons I love Victory of the Daleks, is it's actually kind of a victory for the Daleks. And I love Victory of the Daleks, despite its flaws, which I acknowledge. I love that episode. But not having the Doctor there gives the Daleks a chance to win. Maybe it is a situation where the Daleks show up, or we stumble onto the Daleks and wake them up, and then they just decimate the humans. Maybe none of the humans make it out. Maybe only one makes it out to tell the horror tale. I like the idea, or maybe the humans don't get killed and they just they end up being the Daleks' slaves. Like, we stumble onto some of these stories where the Daleks have turned humanity into slaves, like the Dalek invasion of Earth. Maybe we see the beginning of that when humans are, oh, we found this ship with these deactivated creatures like Power of the Daleks, and we woke them up, and it ends up with them being subjugated, and they end up being subjugated for a few centuries. And that's how the story ends. And then maybe later the Doctor will show up and save them. I like that. I would enjoy that. Imagine a story with the Weeping Angels where the Doctor's not there. Or the Cybermen. Or the one I'd like to see, the Primoids from Inferno. You know, somebody on some remote island, remote somewhere, drilling, doing something, whatever happens, volcano erupts, whatever, the ooze comes up, and someone gets infected, and slowly but surely, either everyone gets infected or most people get infected. You could do that almost as a lost footage episode. That'd be interesting. Kind of like how in The Stand, if you've ever read The Stand, not The Stand, Salem's Lot, if you've ever read Salem's Lot, you know, it's told where you're looking back on events, or it's kind of cutting back and forth between the past and the present. And during the course of Salem's Lot, you already know certain people don't make it through the story, and you know certain people do because it has accounts from people about what happened. You know, you could kind of have that here where, you know, the beginning of the episode with the Primoids is like someone sitting in a interrogation room being interrogated by the police, and they start talking about, you know, you can tell by who's there in the interrogation room. They could be interrogating different survivors. And so you kind of know from the beginning who survived and who didn't. It's seeing the flashbacks play out of what happened to everybody. I would enjoy that. I'd love to see the Primoids come back. I love the Primoids from Inferno. And to see an outbreak of that without the Doctor there to stop it. I would just love seeing a lot of the villains from Doctor Who come back without the Doctor there to save the day, to see what would happen. Could humanity, and it would be nice to have at least one episode where they're facing a Doctor Who antagonist where the humans figure it out. Maybe they don't figure it out as well as the Doctor, but maybe if they don't win, they at least get away. They survive, a good number of them. It's not just a total catastrophe. I mean, I'd like to see some of them be total catastrophes, because again, it would give these villains a chance to win. Imagine something with the Cybermen that's kind of like the Borg in First Contact. I'm always fascinated. I love Star Trek First Contact, and I'm always fascinated by that scene when you see some of the crewmen who have been assimilating getting fully outfitted with the Borg stuff. There's just something perverse and creepy about that scene when you see these people who have been transformed into basically zombies and they're getting fitted with the Borg equipment. There's just something about that that's a bit unnerving. So I'd love to see scenes like that in the Cyberman episode where you see these party who wake up the Cybermen, maybe kind of like something on Telos with Tomb of the Cybermen, and their curiosity gets the better of them, and you see them being slowly taken over, or you see them like at the beginning when they first get taken over, brainwashed, and then later you see them getting all the Cybermen stuff actually put on them, kind of like what's happening to Lytton in Attack of the Cybermen. I think that would be some really fascinating television, especially as the rest of the party start to realize, oh wow, these Cybermen we're fighting now, their numbers are growing because they're turning us into them. It's always fascinated me with zombies, the Cybermen, and the Borg is they don't just kill you. They turn you into one of them. You know, for every number you lose, they gain a number. It's not like, well, there's 10 of them and 10 of us. 5 of us died. Now there's 10 of them and 5 of us. No, there's 15 of them and 5 of us. So for every number you lose is a number they gain. That's fascinating to me. That fascinates me. So I'd love to see an episode like that. Or even just some more creative episodes. Even an episode like maybe a planet the Doctor's been to, where it just explores what's going on in that planet. Maybe a popular planet. Maybe an episode on Gallifrey that doesn't involve the Doctor, where actually something interesting happens somehow. But just some of the other planets that are known in Doctor Who lore. Kind of seeing an episode that explores the impact of a society after the Doctor's been there. It's kind of like in Time Lash, where we see how that society at least has legends of the Doctor from when he was there in that unseen Third Doctor Joe story. You know, something like that, where I'd love to see an episode where the Doctor having been there actually has a long-term negative effect, kind of like what happened in Face of Evil, where with the unattended side effect of him trying to help. I would love to see that. But then I'd also love to see an episode where him having been there has a positive effect. But maybe more so than he'd like. Like maybe he's revered as some kind of god. Kind of like at the ending of Fires of Pompeii, where they're saying, say thanks to the gods, and it's Tennant and Donna. I would like to see something like that, where if the Doctor came back and saw it, he would not be pleased. Matter of fact, you could have an episode of the spinoff where, you know, him being there caused him to be in such godlike status that a civil war broke out over something silly. Like, I'm trying to remember if it's Star Trek Enterprise. I think it's one of the Star Trek episodes where there are these two religious factions fighting. And it's all because, like, something happened and one group thinks it took 8 days and the other group thinks it took 9 days. It's something really trivial like that. Like, well, his resurrection took 8 days. No, his resurrection took 9 days, and they go to war over it. It's something really trivial like that. And then have an episode in the series proper where the Doctor shows up and he's like, and has to straighten it all out, but maybe they don't actually believe he's the Doctor because it was a different Doctor who went back and they don't get regeneration. Like, especially if they did it as a callback to like one of the old Doctors, like Tom Baker or John Pertwee or William Hartnell or something, a classic Doctor, Sylvester McCoy. That'd be cool. With the modern Doctor having to, one, convince them he's the Doctor, and two, convince them that they've taken his words and really twisted them out of proportion. I feel like there are so many possibilities with a Doctor Who spin-off anthology where you don't have to make it serialized. Each episode is its own bottled, contained story. There is so much potential in the Doctor Who universe to do with that. And I would love to see that. BBC, hit me up. Russell T. Davis, hit me up. I have ideas. So I want to know what you think of this idea and what kind of anthology stories would you like to see, actually? What do you think would make really good anthology stories in the Doctor Who universe? Comment down below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. That helps me out and I certainly appreciate it. We are over 1,400 subscribers now, and that makes my day. I always love watching the channel grow. I want to give a shout out to two of my top tier patrons, Sam Venning and Colin Coney. I appreciate their support as I do the support of all of my patrons. It's very much appreciated, and my YouTube members as well. All the other fun stuff as well down in the description. Links to the Amazon wish list, links to the Amazon UK wish list, and my P.O. box are down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.